And we are up on YouTube right now. We're just waiting for one more committee member.
Councilman Gregory, you look pretty good there.
I'm very comfortable.
That was a great picture of your garden in the paper this weekend.
I thought they did a good job too.
My wife can't wait. She's going to come and do the tour just so she can see your garden.
Oh, good, 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 good. I do it all myself.
Do you really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Keeps me in shape.
Well, she'll be dragging me along as well, although.
Good, good, good. You guys probably won't see me though.
All right.
All right.
You gonna stay in the house?
Yes. I'll go somewhere.
Yeah.
Rick, this is Jennifer. We're just waiting on a quorum right now.
Okay. Thanks, Madam Clerk.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, do you want me to go get the mayor? I mean,
If he's ready.
Will he provide the quorum?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell him.
Thank you.
How things going, Madam Clerk?
They're going well, busy.
Good, good. You can handle it.
Vanessa had a tough job, I will say that.
Yes, she did. You can handle it though.
Well, thank you. And the mayor has joined the meeting.
Okay, let's get started. Hi, Mayor, how are you? You're on mute.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Yes,
Why don't we get started with a moment of the licensing meeting is now called to order. Let's just take a moment of silence. Amen.
Amen.
Do I hear an approval for the September 24th minutes?
So moved. Second.
Moved and properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Any old business? If not, let's move to new business. And I think Janie's going to take the lead on this one.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Councilmember Gregory and other members of council. Item number 4 is an ordinance that was proposed or is being proposed to prohibit the sampling of food, drink, and non-consumable products to pedestrians on the right-of-way. This ordinance is limited in scope to where it would be applicable to, and that's primarily King Street, where the sidewalks are narrow in nature, heavily traveled. And so in the interest of safety, public safety and the pedestrians using the public right-of-way, the city is looking to adopt an ordinance that would prohibit, those activities of sampling on the sidewalk that would cause folks to stop and gather and accumulate on a sidewalk blocking a sidewalk.
This would also apply to the Rose kids, right?
This would, well, the Rose kids don't sample. They're selling. So this is primarily related to the sampling of products.
Okay.
So this would be, we have several vendors on King Street that do a lot of sampling that you may have received emails or telephone calls in regards to, but for the most part, we found that most of the merchants on King Street are in favor of this and do not participate in this type of activity. And in fact, we have Meg Thompson with us here this afternoon, and she can speak on behalf of the Central Business District Commission. Excuse me, Meg, correct me please if I misspoke. And she can speak more from their perspective and the need for the ordinance.
Okay. Meg?
Thank you, council member. So this ordinance, like Janie said, is really to improve public safety, to prevent crowding on sidewalks. And I will say that the vendors who do participate in this sampling are often perceived as aggressive. You get complaints from their business neighbors of patrons saying that they no longer feel comfortable walking and feel like they have to cross the street to avoid this aggressive behavior. So the majority of businesses in this district are supportive of this measure.
What about Hyman's?
Hyman's is not included in the map, if I'm correct.
I know it's not, but there's often a crowd while they're not sampling. Maybe they do, I don't know. But there are crowds.
What we find with regards to Hyman's is that the sidewalk there on Meeting Street is considerably wider than those areas on King Street where this type of activity is occurring. Therefore, you're still able to participate in this activity on Meeting Street and leave, at a minimum 3 foot of sidewalk available.
Okay. So it has more to do with public safety. Are we going to affect any businesses in a negative way, however?
Mr. Chairman, if I may add one point, this doesn't prohibit any businesses from giving away product or sampling as long as they do it inside the confines of their store. We're just saying you can't do it out in the public right of way, and it does cause congestion and as mentioned, some folks do it in a very aggressive fashion. So all I'm saying is let them get them inside the store. They can give away anything they want to.
Are there any other cities with similar ordinances, Mayor?
I'd have to ask Jeannie if she's got any knowledge on that. I'm not aware of that.
I believe there are, and we have invited Steve Rumelin as well, and I believe this ordinance is modeled on another ordinance that was adopted by another municipality. Steve, can you confirm that for me, please?
That is correct. I used some of the language from another ordinance in another city, and this afternoon I was trying to figure out where I got that language from, and I can't find it. I originally drafted it about a year ago, but I did pull that from another city's ordinance that was similar to what we came up with, and I can research that some more and get back to you with the exact city that I used to draft that ordinance. But it was at least one other city had something similar.
Know if they had any pushback, and if so, how? I'm just trying to get questions. That's all. I'm answering. That's all. Any questions?
I didn't actually talk to anyone at the city as to the reaction they had to their ordinance. I just looked at the language itself.
But the Central Business District is supporting this, right?
Yes, so I presented the concept to the commission and they are supportive.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Councilmember Shealy has his hand up.
Yes, Councilmember Shealy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand we need to try to do something about the aggressiveness, with some of these vendors. And I've talked with some people today, knowing that this ordinance was coming about, that are concerned about that. I'm worried about putting an ordinance in effect though that may have unintended consequences. Line Street to Broad Street is a long way. There's a lot of stores there. And I guess what concerns me, we brought up Hyman's. Hyman's gives out the hush puppies and that type of thing. I mean, at some point we're going to say, okay, we passed an ordinance. If you're on King Street, you may have an identical restaurant to Hyman's, but we're not going to allow you to be able to hand out samples and use that as a way to draw business in. And I just see some unintended consequences. And I'm worried about the timing on this for King Street businesses. You know, they're down right now. And is this something that's going to come back with someone saying, hey, you kind of kicked us while we were down and put in a new ordinance on here? So I've got concerns both ways. I perfectly agree that we need to try to do something with the aggressiveness that that some of these vendors use. But I do worry about the unintended consequences of passing an ordinance like this.
Anybody else? Councilman Waring?
Well, can I get some background on some situations that's being too overly aggressive? I just don't hang down King Street as much as I used to. Let's put it like that. Can anybody give an example of?
Well, I can, council member, because over the last few years as mayor, I've received a number of letters, mostly from visitors, but some local residents complaining about, there's a few retailers on King Street. They all primarily do cosmetics, and they sample free cosmetics out on the street. And then when they do get someone inside, it must be some elaborate sales pitch. The customers walk out after making some huge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 commitment to it's almost, well, I don't know if I want to say it in a public setting. Janie would probably say I'm getting in trouble. But
that's okay. That's enough. I got the gist of it, man. I didn't realize.
And just to address Councilmember Shealy's point, which it is a valid point, but I must tell you that unanimously the businesses who are members of our CBD commission support this. And I would respectfully say, I'm certainly open, if there are unintended consequences, to admit we made a mistake and go back and fix it if we need to. But every retailer vendor that I've talked to who's anywhere near where this aggressive behavior is going on has been clamoring for us to do something about it. I mean, and at this point, we agree this is the most sensible thing to try.
Any more comments? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Well, I'll move for approval.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. You got Councilman Griffin's hand is up.
Councilman Griffin?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for recognizing me. I agree with Councilmember Shealy. I'm really concerned about this. I think this is a really, really steep punishment to a lot of businesses, and I'm not supportive of this right now. So I'm not going to vote to cancel that, because there's a lot of businesses that use that as a marketing tool and it brings business in. I don't think that we have the full consensus. I think that this might be some of the restaurants may be okay with this, but I'm just not supportive of this. Thank you.
Anybody else?
And was there a second to the motion, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, I did second it for discussion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna say aye.
I'm gonna say aye. Nays?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. The ayes have it. And I agree with you, Mayor. If it doesn't work, we can always change it.
No, it's
And if it's something that the business community and the newly formed commission that we have is supporting it, I think at a minimum, we need to support it as well.
We'll have
Mr. Chairman?
we'll have a report from the commission for the first time at city council meeting tomorrow night.
Okay. Councilman Griffin?
Can we, Mr. Mayor, are you expecting to maybe take a look back at this in like 60 days, or do you have any idea of when you'll want to kind of look at how this affects the businesses? Because I would like to, if we can, put some sort of numerical number on when we're going to look at this again, rather than it just kind of, fade away.
All right. Well, we don't know a lot of businesses engaging in this kind of activity, but we'll let them know up front and give them the opportunity to cease and desist, if you will. I think it'll be pretty immediate, the effect of it, and whether there's any unforeseen negative effects. I think in 90 days, you could take a glance at it again, council member.
That works for me. That works for me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Any more discussions? Is there anything else to come before this committee?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just want to comment on what a beautiful fountain you have in your yard. That was a beautiful picture in the paper yesterday, and I'm tempted to go on the tour.
Well, you don't need a tour, Mayor. Come on. Anytime we can have a beer in the backyard. If not, this meeting is adjourned.